Alex pour Rebel News et je suis présentement à Doral, à Miami, pour couvrir tous les événements entourant la nouvelle libération du Venezuela. Nous sommes ici parce que nous voulons parler directement avec les Vénézuéliens pour savoir ce qu'ils pensent, pour savoir aussi leur histoire par rapport non seulement au Venezuela, mais aussi avec le dictateur Nicolás Maduro. Aujourd'hui, je vous offre une entrevue exclusive avec Rafael Pineyro, qui est conseiller de la ville de Doral. Nous avons parlé un peu de ses opinions ainsi que sur son histoire, puisque M. Pineyro est né à Caracas et a immigré ici aux États-Unis lorsqu'il avait 15 ans. Donc, je vous laisse écouter l'entrevue complète.
I came here with my family back in 1999, and my parents, grandparents, we all left the country after 6-7 months of Chavez in power. My grandfather was the one that said, we better leave the country. This is going to become another Cuba because of Chavez. So we did it. I haven't returned to Venezuela after 26 years, but I'm very confident and hopeful that we're gonna be able to do it. I would love to visit once again my country, the country that I was born, but not only because of me. My son was born here. My wife is Venezuelan, and I would like to take my little one and say, this is where your father actually used to live and went to school and so on, and for him to know Venezuela as well. So what happened yesterday certainly was a big day for not only for Venezuelans, it was a big day for anyone that believes in democracy and freedom. And we have to see it that way. We have to embrace it that way. So we're happy that at least a transition has started. And that's why we need all the support. We need to give all the support, and not only to the U.S. government right now for everything that they're doing, but especially we have to support our Venezuelans, friends and families. They're still over there facing the consequences of a regime that for 26 years have killed a lot of people, have put in jail a lot of people, political prisoners. As a matter of fact, we have about 800 political prisoners as we speak, still in jails in Venezuela. So there's still a lot of work that we have to do. And that's why it's a good time to all come together, especially if you believe in freedom and democracy, and hopefully finish what the U.S. government started yesterday.
Why do you think it's only Donald Trump who chose to do something regarding Maduro?
Well, I think that President Trump was very determined since he took power that he was going to do things different, and he was going to look into Latin America.
Why is running a country in South America America first?
Well, I think it is because we want to surround ourselves with good neighbors. We want to surround ourselves with stability. We want to surround ourselves with energy. We have tremendous energy in that country. It's very important that we protect it. We need that for ourselves. We need that for the world. And we want to make sure we can protect it.
For years, Republicans, presidents in the past, Republicans or Democrats, have ignored everything that has been going on in Latin America. You have a lot of presidents in the past and still in a lot of our countries in Latin America that have been involved in criminal activities that they like to call themselves socialists, but they're not socialists. They're just criminals. They just people that want to steal everybody's money and leave the country at some point. So what have been happening in Latin America is exactly that. You had people that for years they were doing whatever they want, including a lot of activities related to narco traffic. So, and Maduro Chavez was part of that too for a good number of years. So I'm glad that the Trump administration is the one paying more attention to Latin America and sending a clear message that we're not going to play around when it comes to these criminals.
Obviously, you probably saw some Democrats, including New York Mayor Zoran Mandani, have claimed that arresting Maduro is illegal and that Venezuelans in New York disagree with Trump.
I called the president and spoke with him directly to register my opposition to this act and to make clear that it was an opposition based on being opposed to a pursuit of regime change, to the violation of federal and international law, and a desire to see that be consistent each and every day.
What do you say about that?
Shame on him. Shame on him because he's representing a city where a lot of Venezuelans reside. A lot of Venezuelans have left the country for the same reasons that my family and we left the country 26 years ago. So shame on him for making that comment. He's just starting an administration. He should know better what has been taking place in Venezuela for 26 years. So how are you not going to be in support of something that has created all this chaos and disaster across nations? How are you not going to support the fact that the U.S. have captured a person that has been involved in the killing of a lot of people, that have been involved in the kidnapping of a lot of people, that has, again, over 800 political prisoners still in Venezuela, that has been involved in a lot of criminal activities when it comes to narco traffic. And again, he's a narco terrorist. So how are you going to be in favor of the capture of someone that is not even a legit president of any nation? So I think that comments like that, we don't have to pay attention to those comments. We just have to keep working hard and making sure, again, that Venezuela once again becomes the country that they deserve to be.
You said it was a violation of federal and international law. Do you plan to use any of the city's resources to interfere with the prosecution or anything like that?
This is a federal action on a federal timeline, and I owe it to New Yorkers to deliver for them across the 5 boroughs and also to be honest and straightforward about my own thoughts on this.
How do you explain, because as of right now, not only in Canada, in the US and other places around the world, mainly Western nations, are now protesting in favor of Nicolas Maduro. Mainly leftists are people who advocate for communism.
Right.
Those people mainly say that they side with the oppressed people, but as of right now, they seem to side with a dictator who oppressed his own people. How do you explain this?
Well, that's pure ignorance. I mean, there's no other way to describe it. That's sometimes I like to call it the stupidity that we are dealing around the world with people that unfortunately they don't care about anything. That's just pure stupidity and ignorance about what's really going on in our countries. I mean, you cannot support a government or so-called government, because there's not such a government in Venezuela right now. It's just a regime of gangsters that oppress people and that have been in power for 26 years, that have stolen elections. So again, if you're someone that believes in freedom regardless of your political views, if you're someone that believes in humanity regardless of political views, you have to support what is taking place right now of a new government, of a new transition for a new government in Venezuela. So again, those that are making those comments, unfortunately, some of them they're paid. Some of them they get paid for saying that. But those that are elected officials, if at that level you're making that comment, unfortunately, you just lack of knowledge and your ignorance in a lot of matters that should be concerning to you as well.
A lot of people, including Cuban, saw a lot of hope when they saw what happened in Venezuela. What do you think might happen with Cuba?
Listen, Cuba, it's a more complex situation as well. Cuba has been dealing with a regime for 60 plus years. The Cuba regime has been the one creating a Hugo Chavez, has been the one creating our Ortega in Nicaragua. So I hope that, and I'm confident that with this administration and Marco Rubio as the Secretary of State, we see that change coming to these countries as well. Again, Maduro, it was big to capture Maduro, and it's going to be a big day once we have a transition in place, finally completed in Venezuela. But Cuba has to be on the table as well, and Nicaragua has to be part of the conversation too. I believe that with the change of regime in Venezuela there's no doubt that will cause a change in Cuba and Nicaragua in the near future as well.
Is the Cuban government the Trump administration's next target, Mr. Secretary? Very quickly.
Well, the Cuban government is a huge problem. Yeah, the Cuban government is a huge problem. First of all,
is that a yes?
Cuba, but I don't think people fully appreciate I think they're in a lot of trouble. Yes, I'm not going to talk to you about what our future steps are going to be and our policies are going to be right now in this regard, but I don't think it's any mystery that we are not big fans of the Cuban regime, who, by the way, are the ones that were propping up Maduro. His entire internal security force, his internal security apparatus is entirely controlled by Cubans. One of the untold stories here is how, in essence, you talk about colonization, because I think you said Delcy Rodriguez mentioned that. The ones who have sort of colonized, at least inside the regime, are Cubans. It was Cubans that guarded Maduro. He was not guarded by Venezuelan bodyguards. He had Cuban bodyguards. In terms of their internal intelligence, who spies on who inside to make sure there are no traitors, those are all Cubans.
In your own opinion, what is next for Venezuela, and who do you think is the best to lead that country?
Well, there's no doubt that we're going to have Maria Corina Machado and Edmundo Gonzalez leading the country in the near future. It's just a matter of time. I mean, it's not the right time for them to be in Venezuela. We know that. But it's going to be a matter of time for them to be the one leading the future of Venezuela. And I'm happy because they have all the support. They have the support from here. They have the support from leaders across the nations. So they're going to be the one leading the future of Venezuela. And they're the ones that deserve to be doing that. So
if you had maybe a message to pass to the community around the world, we have some in Canada, what it would be?
To be united, to support, to do it not because of Trump. Forget about the Trump administration for a second. This is the administration that is making things happen, not only for a particular country. It's doing it for not only for our national security here in the United States, but it's doing it for the whole region. So I think it's just a matter of being united, to know that a change of government in Venezuela, it's for a good reason. It's for a future. It's not only for their future, but it's for our future here in the region as well. So to embrace it, to support it, to understand that it's not just because we want to see Maduro in jail or because we want to see a new government in Venezuela. To understand that these has been people that for years has kidnapped a country, that for years have put thousands of people in jail, that for years created more than 8 million of Venezuelans to leave the country. So again, it's about justice, it's about freedom, it's about democracy. And again, anyone that believes in democracy, regardless of your political views, should be in support of a change of government in Venezuela, should be supporting the U.S. government in their intentions to create that change.
So in the mainstream media in Canada, and especially in Quebec, there were headlines saying that Maduro is the man of the people, and I want to have your reaction to that.
Well, he might be the man of a few 10 or 20 people, but he's not. I mean, he's just a criminal. That's it. He's someone that from the first time, he didn't deserve to be there. He just got there because of Chavez took power in 1999, and Maduro has been, just another criminal as part of that group. He has been involved in all this. He's a drug dealer. He has been involved in all these narco deals that has been taking place around nations, especially in Latin America. He's not the person that he was portraying to be. But let me tell you, there are worse people than him. The ones that steal in Venezuela, they're worse than him. Delcy Rodriguez, Diosdado Cabello, they're worse than Nicolás Maduro. So that's why we still have a lot of work to do. But Nicolás Maduro is going to pay the price of, again, killing people, kidnapping people, political prisoners, creating Venezuela, making Venezuela one of the countries, more poorest countries in the world. So how you're going to say that he's the man of the people?
Mm-hmm. And in Venezuela, you have a lot of gangs like Tren de Agua, and you have also a lot of bad people over there. Do you think it would need another strike over there?
Well, remember, right now it's considered one of the poorest country in the world. So hopefully that doesn't happen. I think that what the administration is doing right now in trying and making sure that the transitions take place, we hope that the criminals that right now are still in Venezuela, they got the message. They understand that if they don't do what the Trump administration is expecting for them to do, they're going to end as bad as Maduro. So they got the message. They know that the United States are not playing around, and they're willing to do whatever it takes to make sure that the transition take place.
What would you answer to the people who say that it was a selfish act because Donald Trump just wanted the oil of Venezuela?
Well, we're going to be running it with a group, and we're going to make sure it's run properly. We're going to rebuild the oil infrastructure, which will cost billions of dollars. It'll be paid for by the oil companies directly. They will be reimbursed for what they're doing, but that's going to be paid. And we're going to get the oil flowing the way it should be. As you know, it was just a minor flow. It was actually a minor flow for what they have. But we're going to run it properly, and we're going to make sure the people of Venezuela are taken care of. We're going to make sure the people that were forced out of Venezuela by this thug are also taken care of.
Listen, Venezuela has been, before Chavez took power in 1999, the United States was a very close partner of the oil industry in Venezuela for numbers of years. So the fact that President Trump now made that comment, again, it's nature, and it will be a great benefit for Venezuela, not only to count with the U.S. government assistance, but also to count with the all U.S. companies in that transition. And after Maria Corina and El Mundo are in power, they're going to need the support, not only for the U.S. government, but they're going to need the support from other nations, other companies, private companies that are related to the oil industry, because we all know Venezuela has the largest reserve of oil around the world. So it makes sense that you're going to have a lot of these oil companies, not only from the U.S., but from other countries, to start looking to sign partnerships and deals and agreements with the companies in oil companies in Venezuela. So he's commenting, yes, he's a businessman. He understands the importance of the oil industry, not only in Venezuela, but here in the United States. And remember, if that happens, will be a benefit for us here too. I mean, look at the gas price. It actually went down more this month. It's coming down since last month. Having these type of partnerships, or having the oil now coming from Venezuela instead of the other places, will be a benefit for the United States as well. So, and it will be a benefit for any other country in the region, including Canada too. So we just have to, again, take it one day at a time. This is just the beginning. We can have that conversation in the near future, but again, hopefully we can see the change of government very soon.
Do you have a message to Donald Trump?
Well, we not only to the Trump administration, but my message certainly has been to recognize our U.S. military personnel. They did a great job yesterday. It's a clear demonstration about what our U.S. force is capable of doing in any part of the war. So my recognition, I honor their sacrifice, because again, it was a military action, what took place yesterday, and they did a great job. So I just thank anyone that is supporting the change of government in Venezuela, that is supporting Maria Corina Machado and Mundo Gonzalez. All my respect. We're here to support. We're here to support here in Doral too. We have the largest Venezuelan community in the United States, and we're all supporting everything that is taking place right now.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nous avons voyagé du Canada à Miami pour être ici sur le terrain pour parler avec les Vénézuéliens, pour leur demander des questions que vous voulez entendre, rapporter la vérité de ce qu'ils pensent de la dernière action militaire de Donald Trump. Si vous voulez contribuer à notre journaliste indépendant, allez sur venezuelaisfree.com. Merci de donner ce que vous pouvez et regardez nos reportages.